This is Roman, the Texas real estate advisor.
Homeowners, are you ready to put more money in your pocket and figure out how to net the most amount of money when you go to sell your house? Today, we are talking about 5 key improvements that will give you the best return on your investment when you go to sell your house. Stick around, you do not want to miss this. As homeowners, we are very interested to do improvements to our house that on the back end, we can enjoy returns on our investment. So the idea is, while I live in the house, I'm going to make it comfortable. I'm going to make it beautiful. And in the end, after I enjoy all of these improvements, I will sell the house and I will get all of my money back. So that only works with certain items. And I do want to warn you that you do not make a mistake that some sellers make, because I've seen it before. You have a house that is being sold for $600,000 and it's surrounded by homes. It's in a subdivision and it's surrounded by homes that are selling in the 300s, and the seller is asking for double the price. The home is sitting on the market for 6 months. It's not selling. And when you go to dig a little bit deeper, the seller wants his money back because he spent the extra $300,000 on that house by doing a luxurious backyard, luxurious pool, doing outdoor kitchens, all of these items that do not fit the neighborhood or the price range of the neighborhood. That is one thing you have to look out. Do not over improve your property, because in the end, it will cost you out of pocket. Another couple items are pools. Pools are considered a luxury improvement, but people think if I put in $150,000 into a pool, that when I go to sell my house, I could just add that $150,000 to the price of the house and I will get my whole investment back. That is wrong, because statistics say a pool will only get 50% back of what you spent on it. It will not appraise for that full amount of construction, expenses, material that went into it. You will only get 50% of that on the appraisal report. More items that you really have to be careful when you go to improve your house. One of those items is very deceiving because it's sold door to door, and that is solar panels. Solar panel salesmen, they say that the value of your house automatically goes up when the panels go on the roof. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. Me being a realtor who sells homes represents buyers when they go to buy properties with solar panels. Right away, the buyer says one thing: I will not inherit the debt, the lien of the solar panels when the sale happens. I do not want this debt to transfer. It was the seller who made the decision. It is the seller who will pay off the solar panels when we settle the account in the title company during closing. So that's one thing you have to understand. An appraiser will not give you all of that value, that $30,000, $40,000 that you spent on solar panels and you went into debt. Now you have this lien against the house. When you go to get it appraised or you go to sell it, all of that money is not going to come into your pocket. I would say 70% of the times that debt or that lien will have to be settled during closing, and it will come out straight out of the gains of the seller. Number one thing I put on this list, we will start with the curb appeal of the house. That is promising a 20 to 30% on your investment. And more than that, it's going to get people interested to come inside of the house when you go to sell. I've had an experience personally with me where I pull up with a buyer to a home, and instead of going inside, this buyer looks at me from the car window and he says, "We are turning around." They did not like the property on the outside, and they did not even find it worthwhile to go and waste their time on the inside. And so if you can imagine that is huge when you go to sell. So a couple items I'm going to give you that are just, that make your house stand out. It is a base paint in a trim paint that matches, that coincides. And if you need designer help, you can hire a designer. Or if your realtor has any experience in remodel or in investing, remodeling properties, they could definitely give you a good opinion of what's in and what's not in. Another is power washing the house, power washing the bricks, painting the front door, washing all the windows. This is a small expense, but it gives you a great return. Another one is gutters. I know Texas is not very common where you see gutters on the house, but those gutters are going to do miracles when it comes to keeping the foundation of the property healthy without it being washed out, without moisture and mud constantly being at the foundation. And that's going to give the potential buyer a insight that the house does not have underlying issues of foundation, because the buyer went and took the extra step forward to purchase the gutters and make sure that the house is being protected. It says something about the quality of the homeowner that they are taking preventative measures. Another item that goes to the curb appeal side is fencing. Fencing. There's nothing worse than when you pull up to a house. The house is nice, but you look at the fence and it's falling over. It's raggedy. There's holes in it. The door is hanging on one hinge. It's falling over. And it just ruins the whole house. The fence, it's such a small part of overall of the house, but it could ruin everything, especially in the backyard. So I encourage you, as you go and you invest into your home before you put it on the market, make sure you get that fence done. And if you have to, you can use a stain and paint the fence. Do not use a solid paint because it will chip. But if you use a stain, it's going to give it a good color. It's not going to look faded, and it's definitely going to give a huge benefit to the buyer that looks at the fence. It's going to give it a fresh new look. Other than that, things like the driveway, keeping the lawn in good condition, keeping the landscape in good condition, that is going to be a huge part on investing into the curb appeal of your property. Also take into consideration the neighbors. I know this is a trick that some realtors have used in the past. When the neighbor does not have their yard in proper condition, right? Maybe it's even on both sides. What happens is the buyer looks at that and they say, well, look, the neighbors might be messy. Do we want to live next to these people? And so the way we can prevent that is if the seller actually, a few weeks before the house goes on the market, bakes some cookies, bakes some banana bread, takes it to the neighbor and say, hey, can we please help you out with the landscaping? Here's me and the kids, or we want to book you a complimentary landscape job through our company that does our yard. Here's the gift card. And just really take the extra step to make sure when you are going on the market, the house, the neighbor homes, on both sides, they look presentable. Stick with me to the end. I have a bonus for you. I have an improvement, a feature, an investment that people do into their house that actually ends up costing them a lot of money on the front end and costing them a lot of money on the back end. And this feature people invest in, they say it's going to be great. There's going to be more room for me. It's going to be exciting. I'm going to use this space. But when it comes to sell their house, and potential buyers are shopping, they're looking at this house, they're looking at this feature, and they say, no, this is a negative. No, I will not buy this house because of this investment, because of this feature. This house does not work for our family. As they say that the heart of every home is the kitchen, that is where it all happens. That's where the action, that's where the family gets together. That's where, you spend a lot of your times is in the kitchen. So the kitchen remodel, a dreamy kitchen remodel, something that people are after, the right countertops, the right cabinets, right? The right layout, counter space, making sure that the kitchen is set up with the cook in mind, with the housemaker in mind. And that is such an important part of the household that when you invest into the kitchen, that promises a 70 to 80% return on your investment. And I'm telling you that it is a make it or break it for many people. I've seen people turn away from the house. I mean, everything is ideal, rooms ideal, backyard ideal, the kitchen. The kitchen does not fit. I know I have right now a client that is shopping a luxury housing market, and they are shopping around the kitchen. Literally, the first thing that we look at when we're sending a listing to them or we're looking at a house is the kitchen. Does the kitchen fit the mold, the standard, what we're looking for? So what I recommend for you as the seller, somebody who's looking to build value, increase the equity in your house, and cash in big when you go to sell, make sure that you do your kitchen remodel, the backsplash, the counters, the kitchen cabinets, everything, and also make sure it's arranged properly. Paint the walls properly. I would use natural light colors, and that kind of stuff will make the room seem brighter, more open. What you want to make sure that is your furniture as well does not eat up all the space. I mean, that is such a sad thing, is when the furniture in the house is too big for the house. And I've seen buyers coming into a place, I mean, the house is great, everything is beautiful, amazing, and the furniture just makes the space look so small, and they say, hey Roman, I'm sorry, this house is not for us, it's too small. And I understand, and I try to say, hey, the furniture is just too big, but when that first impression is made, I mean, you can't change somebody's mind. So be wise when you're doing these improvements, when you're selecting your kitchen furniture. Make sure it looks good, it comes together so you can get the most money when you go to sell your house. Another must-have improvement in your home in order to get maximum dollars back at the closing table is going to be a bathroom remodel. Whether it's going to be the master suite where you have the master bath, remodeling that shower. I mean, the shower tile, that's such an important part of the bathroom. You want to make sure that tile is properly laid. There's no cracks there the moisture is gonna be able to seep through. That it matches the countertops, it matches the theme. I mean, the fixtures have to be in line with the modern theme of the house, with the modern trends. You got to make sure that the shower, if you can expand the shower, people love a nice big walk-in shower. I mean, there's nothing worse when you get into a nice big house with everything that is ideal, and then you go into the master bath, and the shower is like this space to where both of your shoulders are touching both of the walls when you're standing in there. And so if you can, and you have the funds to invest into the shower, expanding it, redoing the tile, making a little sitting area there, that is going to be huge. Buyers are attracted to that, as well as making sure that there's proper flooring. As you know, in the bathroom, that it's always wet, there's moisture there. It's good to lay a flooring that is going to be waterproof, whether it's tile or it's a luxury vinyl plank. Make sure that you choose the materials correctly, and you will know that when the time comes, you're going to get all of that money back, because people, they go and they compare. They look at this house, they look at this house, both on the same street. One has a remodeled bathroom, remodeled kitchen, the other one doesn't. People will be willing to pay the extra $50,000 that would save them the headache of remodeling, living in a construction zone, because they know how much of a problem that is and how difficult it is. They will gladly pay for that premium because you have chosen the right materials and the right improvements. In 2023, buyers are looking for features. They are called smart features in the home, or energy saving, efficient green features in the home. And what is this? What are we talking about here? And I'm going to tell you, these investments, when you invest into this part of your home, they will make your home appealing when they go to compete against other homes, especially if your house is in a well-established neighborhood. It was built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. You have the big mature trees. You have the beautiful established look of a older neighborhood that's not just bare yards and fences. And so what you can do is you can go invest into these green features. Number one, I will put in that is windows. Windows are such a huge part of keeping the house warm and cold. And so when you go to do these investments and you invest into the house windows, you're actually going to save yourself money. And when you go to sell the property, the buyer is going to see that, and they will choose your house over a house with older windows. And let me tell you why, because I've had this experience before. We're house shopping in a beautiful established neighborhood. I mean, beautiful windows up to the ceiling, just amazing house, established neighborhood, beautiful backyard, deck. I mean, you have it all. But the windows, they're single pane windows from the 70s. The buyer looks at me, says, Roman, what does it cost to redo these windows? And me having experience in remodel, investment properties, working with builders, I understand that a 3,000 square foot house, 2-story, that's $35,000 to $40,000 that they're going to have to spend. And not only that, that's an inconvenience after they move in. So after the headache of moving, now you're dealing with the headache of construction. So if you can do that on the front end, and I'm going to tell you, there's some great government incentives that will pretty much pay for your windows with rebates, because they are interested in getting you to save on electricity usage. So that is number one, windows. Number two is insulation. If you can, and improve the insulation quality of your home, which is in the attic, maybe the seals around your doors, maybe the garage door, these items will help you save on energy costs, as well as you can underline those features in your listing description. And one more thing I wanted to throw out there is very simple. It is a smart Wi-Fi thermostat. I mean, these things are so cool. I do not want to live without one of these. I mean, you're coming home from work, you look at your phone, you see the house is at 85 degrees. Let me bring it down to 72. And you can do it from the comfort of your phone. By the time you get home, from work, from church, from shopping, your house is at that ideal temperature. So that is amazing. Go ahead and make that investment, and it could be a feature that helps people decide on buying your home. Last item we're talking about here when investing into your house and expecting maximum returns at the closing table, putting cash in your pocket, selling your house for the most amount of money possible. That last item is going to be an office space or a school room. We understand in the last 3 to 5 years, the workspace has changed. Things have become more remote, especially after 2019, right? Kids are transferring. I see a trend of kids going from public school to a homeschool environment. So that office space, if you have a fifth room, maybe a fourth room that is not being used, there's just a bunch of boxes there. Set it up as a nice office space. Put a desk in there, paint the walls properly. Maybe put a proper sound barrier. If you can make it into a little studio. I'm going to tell you, when you go to sell your house, that little investment of $2,000 or $3,000, and you put these pictures on MLS and you advertise it properly, it's going to bring extra buyers into your house, because that feature stands out from the rest of the crowd. And I want to tell you, be wise with your investments. You need a professional on your side. You need an advisor, a real estate advisor, not somebody who does this half-time, who's a weekend warrior, but you need somebody who's serious about real estate, who's serious about, helping their clients, and somebody who has experience in the market day in and day out, seeing the trends, seeing how fast homes are selling. And so this is the type of representation you need. Promised you a bonus at the end, so here it is. I'm delivering on my promises. There is the worst decision that a seller makes by investing, improving a part of their house, and then losing on the back end $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 plus the money they invested. And that investment is converting a garage space from a functioning garage into a just extra bonus room. And I'm going to tell you why this is bad. Because people need garage. People need storage space. And when you have a house in a residential street, the garage has been transformed into a bonus room, and the house now has no garage, that is such a turnoff for so many families. There are so many guys out there that live in the garage. They fix their cars, they store their tools, and when you go to take your garage space and you convert it into something secondary, like a little game room or some kind of play area, or I don't even know, maybe another living room, that is going to come back. It's going to bite you, and you're going to end up paying the price, because buyers need a place to store their tools, to store their cars, and to have a garage. So here is my tip for you. Don't make these mistakes, and reach out if you ever need any guidance in the real estate market. My name is Roman, your local real estate advisor in Central Texas. Give me a call anytime. There's a lot of cool buyer programs right now. They're available to people. If you can take advantage of them, you will definitely not regret it. Thank you again.
Gold Real Estate Group. Real estate at its finest.